Corner into 2026 and enter an election year, budget season, and a legislative session. I ask that you help us honor you in our attitudes, our communications, and decisions. Thank you for my fellow commissioners who have served faithfully and with integrity over the last several terms. Help us to make the final stretch together worthy of the citizens of this county. Finally, place your truth and peace in the heart of leaders of every level of government. Let it prove out as we all work to govern in the direction that aligns with your will. Keep us safe tonight as we return to our homes and families. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have our first item is approval of the minutes from December the 9th.
Motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We do have a couple of individuals who have asked to address the court. Mr. Staverman, would you like to come up to the microphone? Good evening.
Good evening to the court and all the concerned individuals who have shown up today. Early December, it was just me and one other person, so it's nice to see the room more crowded for a change. In early December, I spoke to this court, and I raised the fact that only 2% of ICE detainees in Northern Kentucky facilities were violent offenders. That stat was unchallenged. Other stats were challenged, but that stat was not challenged. 98% of detainees are not violent in Northern Kentucky. So I still have concerns for all of those detainees, for their constitutional rights, for their safety, health, and well-being in our detention center, which is run by Mark Fields. But I have other concerns in light of the events of the last couple weeks. In Minneapolis, we saw the violence of these ICE operations. Renee Good was a law-abiding citizen and mother who was not out to harm anyone. But an agent decided to step in front of her vehicle, put 3 bullets in her, and murder her in cold blood. So it's clear to all of America that this is not about safety in our streets. This is not about getting violent offenders off the streets. We hardly have any violent offenders in Northern Kentucky. This is about power. These men are looking to exert power, and they're ready to kill at a moment's notice. So I ask you, right now we have 287G agreements, and we have an intergovernmental service agreement, which is bringing these agents into our county with open arms, saying, come here, run your operations, exert your force, be violent in our county. Jailer Fields apparently welcomes that violence. I ask this board, do you? Are you prepared? This summer they will come here. This summer they will look to point their guns at people. Neighbors who come out into the street, they will be ready to kill. Are you prepared for some of that responsibility? Because your silence, you're doing nothing. Your complicity gives them license to murder people. So I ask you, please end the 287G agreements today. Please end the intergovernmental service agreement today. Add it to the agenda for the next meeting. Or at the very least, please investigate Jailer Mark Fields. Investigate our detention center to ensure and assure everyone here that constitutional rights are being honored, health, well-being, and safety is being maintained in our detention center for all. Thank you for your time, and I yield the rest of my time to whoever else has come. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Ms. Ashlyn Green, and if we could just ask you to keep it to about 2 minutes, we'd appreciate it.
I wanted to start off by saying I have a massive fear of public speaking, so I'll be reading from my phone. But this issue is so important to me that I felt it would be a moral failure to not speak up and use my privilege to speak for our community members who can't for fear of losing everything. In 2012, when I was in high school, I had the opportunity to speak to a Holocaust survivor for a final project in my history class. Her name was Ava Kaur, and she passed away in 2019. One of the questions I asked her was, what were the warning signs? Do you see any of them in American society today? She told me that Hitler succeeded because he gave people someone to blame for the hardship in their lives. For Hitler, it was the Jews, and in the current political climate, modern times, it was Obama. Or it was immigrants. That was during Obama. That was one of the most impactful moments in forming my political ideology. Last weekend, I saw a video of a man named Juan Carlos, a legal citizen who was living in his car in Minneapolis. ICE brutalized him. They pinned him to the ground, pushed his face into the concrete, punched him, kicked him, kneed him in the face, despite him not resisting and being outnumbered 5-1. After finding out he was legal, they let him go, impounded his car, and ticketed him. What are we doing? I never dreamed that I would be at home crying and worrying for my baby cousin who lives in Chicago. Her mom is white and her dad is black and Hispanic. She does not look white like I do. And I have never given it more attention than curiosity when we were little, but my grandma visited her in Chicago and told me that my cousin warned her of ICE presence where she lived and worked and to prepare herself for what she might see. Now I have to worry for her safety. What if my cousin forgets her ID the day that ICE stops her? What if they brutalize my baby cousin because she wasn't getting her ID fast enough? I held her the day she was born in rural Illinois, and I have to worry about ICE taking her off the streets, beating her for no reason. ICE has no place in our community. I do not want to worry for my community like this. I don't want to worry about mothers sending their child to school. I don't want my niece, my 3-year-old niece, to see ICE raids as she goes to the park with her father. Please end the 287G agreements in Kenton County and stop letting ICE hold their hostages in our jail. In light of many of our government officials quoting Nazis and using Nazi imagery in regards to ICE, I want to end with a quote from Ernest Hemingway. There are many who do not know they are fascists, but will find out when the time comes. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mohammed Ahmed, I believe. Yeah.
You said 2 minutes?
Please.
Okay, yes, sir. Good evening. My name is Mohammed. I'm a Covington resident and a proud Palestinian American, speaking today to respectfully express opposition, as mentioned, to the 287G agreement with the federal government. I personally cannot support this in good conscience for several reasons, but the main one being that we should all be alarmed at the level of militarization that exists within law enforcement in light of Renee Good's murder. We cannot Zapruder film what we saw in last week's video, nor can we accept any Orwellian arguments that would justify executing a mother of 3 who posed no threat nor harm to anyone. In fact, the actions of that officer are not isolated because they do represent a problematic pattern of tactics that have been violently applied in a way that is appalling and anti-human to anyone who has a conscience. I know this personally firsthand because these tactics of ICE are also inspired by the Israel Defense Forces, who have trained ICE agents that have gone to Israel and learned how to use these same tactics that killed Renee Good, among others. As a Palestinian, I know firsthand about this myself because my family in the West Bank has been brutalized and even killed while dealing with the daily humiliation and subjugation at the hands of the same IDF. And the same IDF has also filmed itself using the same tactics on TikTok when they filmed themselves carrying out a genocide in Gaza. So me personally, I would never want to see that level of violence, dehumanization, and cruelty represented in Kenton County, because I really firmly believe this isn't about left versus right. We should see this as right versus wrong. And I hope anyone with humanity and common sense would agree that tearing families apart, subjecting individuals to cruel and inhumane treatment inside of our respective facilities, and even belligerently using deadly force would see that as wrong. The only people who would benefit from ICE are private prison corporations and various contractors across different sectors, while everyday people like us still struggle with issues that are not connected to illegal immigration, because as mentioned, that is just a scapegoat to avoid humanely addressing other domestic social problems like hunger and homelessness. So I say that to you with good conscience, and to please do the right thing for all of us, not just a select few. Thank you.
Thank you. No one else is signed up to address the court this evening, so just making sure of that. And we always want to make sure we cover that at the beginning of our meeting, so thank you. Beg your pardon?
Is it possible still to?
There was, if you'd like to. Well, it is past the timing, but sure, if you just keep it to roughly 2 minutes if you can, please.
All right, thank you. Hi, my name is Virginia Southgate. I will keep it short. I am a resident of Covington, and my family has been in Covington. I figured out my granddaughter is 10th generation in our neighborhood. I have my immigrants' ancestors came here in the 18th century. Every one of my direct ancestors was here before Ellis Island opened. I don't have a problem with immigrants, but what I do have a problem with is a failure to follow the rule of law. The 287G agreements are a partnership with people who are undertrained and overarmed and who have made public statements with apparently the full backing of the federal government that they do not feel that it is necessary to follow the law. I do not feel safer having militarization, as has been mentioned, on our streets. I am not afraid of my immigrant neighbors, but I have a 34-year-old daughter who couldn't be here because her daughter, my 4-year-old granddaughter, has a fever, and she's staying with her. But she is a writer, and the murder of Renee Good made me feel much less safe. I do not want the 287G partnership with federal agents to stand. We have enough to do in our own community with our own resources without having to support lawless militarization in our streets. Thank you.
Thank you. So,
Would it be possible to speak quickly?
yes, if you can, just go ahead, please.
Thanks.
Is there anybody else who wanted to address the court this evening who did not sign up? Okay, feel free. Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry for not signing up. I just found out about this today. But
Sure.
you can call me RJ. I've been living in Covington for about 10 years now. One of the things that led to my decision to move here and stay here was my neighborhood. I love seeing families be able to walk to the park, be able to walk to church, or just be able to walk around town. And I don't want that to go away. I care about my neighbors. I want them to feel comfortable here, and I want to feel comfortable too. I want to know that if I do, God forbid, have to call the police, that a bystander is not going to be put in a windowless facility somewhere, who knows where. This just does not make me comfortable, and you know, it makes you wonder what's going to happen to your city. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We're going to move on to the general business of the meeting. If anyone else who was wanting to speak to the court on that topic, you obviously do not need to stay for the rest of the meeting. So if you want to exit, we're welcome to leave or stay, but we'll move on with the meeting. We have our update from Kim Webb from the Emergency Shelter of Northern Kentucky. So Kim, please come to the podium.
All right, Sue, we're going to try this, right?
Tech has been tested, I think.
The remote.
I get it.
Awesome. We're always going to do. I thought I would do something, it's not touchscreen, is it? Okay. Something a little different.
I was born and raised in Northern Kentucky in the Crescent Hills area. I attended St. Pius Elementary, I attended Southern Catholic High School. And then I finally got the opportunity to get married and buy a house. I ended up getting a divorce. The judge ordered us to go ahead and sell the house and split the money. So I've just been living in a apartment. The company I was working for got sold out. My job in that company got shipped to another state in another area. I tried to hang on for as long as I could, trying to pay my bills, electric, basically blowing through my 401k. Eventually I ended up getting evicted. My first night in the shelter, was in the work program. The rest of the time I was sleeping in my vehicle. But to get me out of the van and into a bed to where I could lay down and just get a good night's rest, where I could take a hot shower, get something to eat, not worry about that, is a big burden off somebody's chest. All of us got here in a different way, but it can happen. It happened to me. Hopefully one day I can give back. That's my goal. I want to be able to come in here and serve food. I want to come in here and be able to drop clothes off and stuff like that. I am very, very grateful for the staff, very grateful for the volunteers. I owe them more than anything. I owe my life.
Okay. I decided, oh, there we go.
No, that's right.
Yeah. Go over to your PowerPoint. I decided to do something a little different. I was going to do full screen here.
You want to push. See that little button next to the button?
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
I wanted to do something a little different to bring to you all, because we talk about numbers a lot in Kenton County, and our community has really been focusing on the humanitarian side of the work in our community for people that are experiencing homelessness. So I wanted to do a quick video and showcase Mike, who agreed to tell his story for you all.
Yeah, Kim, if you want to talk in the mic there, just.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to move because it's like low and
Sorry.
I'm not.
That podium was built for short people like me.
No comment. But I wanted to do something a little differently. So you can see here, every year I come to the Kenton County and I show my gratitude on behalf of the organization for the support of Kenton County for the shelter that's located in Covington. Just a quick slideshow of the services that we provide, both on an ongoing annual basis and for the winter cold shelter right now that's happening, and also for our daytime services. You also have a handout that was part of your packet. One of the things that's really coming to light is about this concept of community-based services and a community-based service model, that people are wanting to stay in their communities in which they live and reside. Last known addresses, folks like Mike, who are willing to go to a shelter and access any type of service because it's in their community, that they're unwilling to travel to other places. Hence why statistically we do not see folks from Boone or Campbell at high percentages, and it's like less than 10% for each of those counties. They want to stay where their jobs are. They want to stay where they live and what they know to be true. So this is also a big thing for us that we talk about, is this is about self-sufficiency, not stabilized, not subsidized stability. A lot of conversations right now in our nation talk about HUD homelessness, that definition, very narrow, about chronic, most at risk, without widening the lens for student homelessness, family homelessness, people that are living in extended stay motels, for example, supporting the hotel industry. But what we tend to see, and what our work program does, is these are adults, men and women in the winter, that are employed, that are going to market-rate housing. And statistically, of the 60 guests who exited housing, we have the ability with our data system to kind of do a look ahead and a look back. What's the recidivism for these folks? So of the 60 guests who exited housing, 60% remained housed after 3 years, maintaining self-sufficiency without a voucher or subsidy of any type. And then again, this is about the work we do to find and match people to housing where the jobs are that can afford the housing that's in their community. So again, for our housing work programs, we do the baseline entrance for night-by-night shelter, but also our Rise in our Work program guests, because we want them. We recognize the quickest way and the most successful way to exit homelessness is through employment and income. We also know we have our on-site healthcare clinic, and we're proud of the fact that we have 3 partners in that space. We have our advanced practitioner RN that we fund through, that we pay for through St. Elizabeth Business Health, but we also have Nurse Advocacy Center for the Underserved that comes in for daytime services. And then we have UK College of Medicine students who are coming in 1 to 2 nights a week under residents and physicians supervising and donating time. Last year, in our commitment to providing holistic care since we moved in, we actually piloted healthcare at our Scott Street location, but to actually have an on-site healthcare with 2 beds in the clinic and the ability to have almost 1,900 visits to clinic. And those clinic visits range from everything from Tylenol to heart attacks, strokes, throat obstructions, cancer, and things. This is urgent care model. This is about keeping people comfortable and connected to services. More than 2/3 of the guests we see have insurance currently. I don't know how long that's going to last with the changes to Medicaid, but they have insurance. They just struggle to access care. But it's also our commitment to train the next generation of doctors. We're almost always at capacity, so our occupancy rate is 97.37%. This really, the women that struggle, we struggle to fill our 16-bed room when we bring in women in our winter months, and so hence why our occupancy will always struggle to be at 100%. So 68-bed facility. So we value connection over exit. We know that there's been lots of conversation and things like that. And I was out west and talking with the professionals at the National Alliance on Homelessness. We take this very seriously. This is a performance metrics to how well we train our staff. And also in working with the City of Covington on a monthly basis for our meetings, we get our dispatch log from Kenton County. We take it to our incident reports. And as you can see, we had 79 police calls divided by almost 25,000 bed nights for an incident rate of 0.31. These are calls that we're making because we need help in the building. So 79 times we called law enforcement to assist, and that is just our overnight bed count. That does not include the 24-hour restroom. It doesn't include our daytime shower and laundry program, 24 hours. And actually, they were out west at the National Alliance to End Homelessness. They were very impressed on how we calculated this, because there are communities that will calculate their police calls for shelters based on the entire call log for the City of Covington. So we're really proud of this and our work to keep our guests in the building and train staff to manage. And that's really all I really wanted to provide. You all have stat sheets from all of our programs and services. I'm happy to answer any questions. It also has the healthcare on the back side. Lastly, I will say we talked briefly about widening the horizon of homelessness in our community. I've just begun reading a book about the hidden homeless, and the definition of homeless and who meets that definition and where we tend to focus our energy and resources, which leaves out lots of individuals that would otherwise, the value of a shelter bed is almost 70% of our guests spent less than 14 nights in a calendar year. People were resilient. Give them a bed, invest in our operations, and we will keep people employed and back to work and back to families. So thank you.
Continue great work, Kim. And can you repeat that last data point that you said? I think that's huge, the average stay, that date.
Less than 14 nights or less
Yeah,
in a calendar year.
That's huge.
So, and that speaks volumes that not everybody is chronically homeless, although we are creating a larger number of those folks. Not everybody is going to qualify for a permanent supportive housing voucher or a rapid rehousing voucher. And when we talk about our work program, the stability over long-term stability without a subsidy is huge, because landlords are struggling. They don't want to take a subsidy. And that is, if you can't afford the apartment on day one on your own, you're not going to afford it at 6 months on a voucher or when the voucher ends. So for us, keeping that stability.
That's great.
Anybody else?
I just want to say, Kim, I'm just so impressed how you've matured as a leader, a professional, as an organization over the years, just reading through all these stats. I think I'm proud of how you've met all the questions and concerns, and you could have run. I know that this has not been easy at times, but you've just really matured into an amazing leader, and I'm just thankful for that. I'm thankful that this data is helping us be better. It's taught me some things that I probably would not have understood without it, so thank you for being willing to document it and bring it to us as a court and the community. Just one question, are the women that aren't coming to you, are they finding shelter, say at Welcome House, or do you know that
Yeah, I mean, the Ion
information?
Center, there's,
Yeah.
and I don't know the stat off the top of my head, a large percentage of women that are homeless or fleeing domestic violence. So, they're going to the Ion Center, we're going to try our very best to get into Welcome House. I think as the bed continues, the capacity for our region, what we have versus the volume of people, is only going to continue to show that we're sending far more folks into Ohio for service than ever come over here.
Right.
Yeah, great question.
Yeah.
If I can just add, it's kind of funny how time changes people, but Kim and I were just talking about when the whole kind of drama of trying to get the center built, getting it built over by St. E's and all that kind of stuff. And it's funny because we went to lunch a couple times, and I was probably one of the biggest sticking points with the center, but it was about the process of like dealing with the city and the county and all that kind of stuff, and never really about the kind of purpose of it. Since then, I've talked to Kim multiple times. One instance, I was down near our payroll company in Boone County, and there was a guy, I called her on a Saturday and said, this guy's in his wheelchair with 3 inches of snow on him. And he, what do we do with him? And on a Saturday, she answered her cell phone, gave us guidance on what to do. Unfortunately, the guy didn't want to go anywhere. But she was always willing to answer the phone. So, and recently I've had the opportunity with the people that I know, but that they've been able to help. And I got to tell you, this isn't a place where you just go and get out of the cold. The services that they connect you with, the reason you're only there for 14 nights is I never dreamed, and how long has it been since the building was built? It's been...
It'll be 4 years,
4 years.
Valentine's Day.
I never dreamed down on Scott Street or even there and taking tours in here. We've just got a spectacular staff, by the way. But I never dreamed the connections and the extent that they go to connect people to services, okay? And so Kim's awesome. She's a great leader there. She's got a great crew. It is a worthy organization. And I'm going to take it a little bit further outside of her organization to Kenton County.
Absolutely.
We have a detention center that's probably one of the best in the country. And I know it is because we single-handedly through our detention center took probably the largest chunk out of the heroin crisis in our state and in our region with the SEP program, I guess it is, whatever the 3 acronym is. SAP SAP program. That was nationwide renowned program that has been taken and basically carbon copied all over the country. People have access from our detention center to the Life Learning Center. Our judges, our prosecutors are working with our jail for the program. The jail's working with Life Learning Center. The Life Learning Center is connected to all these agencies. We have probably the strongest social network, social service network that works together, and it's coordinated and it's unbelievable, that you'll find in just about any state. And Kim's a big part of that, and I appreciate it. I mean, it's, I'm in the construction industry a lot. We own construction companies. And unfortunately, some of our people find their way to Jailer Fields, and some of our people are not far from your facility. And people that I know have been in both. And so you're well cared for no matter where you land in Northern Kentucky, and you're a huge part of it, and I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. And it's a testament to the fiscal court. Steve Hensley way back with Georgetown, and Georgetown just opened their own shelter. And that was a result of the conversation that we had years ago when they wanted to build a cold shelter. They needed to have some place, and they were using their fairgrounds do it, and then just the process to get them going and to recognize, just the incredible model we have as a shelter in our community, and, what an asset it is, and that's what we've worked to try to be, down to the Opioid Abatement Commission awarding us, about almost $400,000 and calling our program innovative, and one that needed to be duplicated across the state because of the work we do on the Recovery Ready side and with that designation. And so, we're proud that Kenton County has led this and carried this responsibility and done it really, really well as a model to others. We've had conversations about some upcoming ideas of things that would, probably improve. How do we make it better here in Northern Kentucky? What can we do as a whole to lead the way, to trust that we're going to do a great job in our new location and to partner and do all this? It's not been easy, but sticking around, and it's not even talking about our workforce, about how we employ folks with lived experience and our payroll taxes and the things that we do as an employer, as a nonprofit in our community, but giving staff the opportunity to rebuild their lives. We have staff who have been working with us for 4 years, 3 years, which is almost unheard of in a field that's not prioritized for funding on a federal level. And, it is going to continue to be a challenge for us to, long-term financially sustain. It's why you don't see more shelters, for sure. But again, back to the positives, you all, for sticking around and really being a visionary in this approach to leading the way for others to hopefully follow suit, that it's not as bad, that what people think a shelter is, and to look at it from community-based lens, meaning smaller facilities, not larger, smaller facilities that meet the needs in each community is huge. It's really huge.
Well done.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kim. And by the way, well said, Joe, and
Yeah.
Beth, your comments are spot on. And I think the beauty of what we have in Kenton County, we do care about everybody, and we back it up with action, so we do care. Okay, we do have our, and thanks, Kim, for being here tonight. We have our approval of our some federally funded sub-award funding assistance agreement between Life Learning Center and the Fiscal Court. Kurt, do you want to cover this? This is with Life Learning Center.
Yep, this is just a realignment of our funding levels to better match the projections of Life Learning Center with these ARPA funds that expire on December 31st, 2026. So this is just amending their contract to better align themselves with the projections that we've come up with.
And to that end, really, this is so the ARPA money that we've been working with Life Learning Center. That services, we're going to reallocate some of those dollars in the next item. But this is also one of the, really a shout out to Life Learning Center. Continually had meetings with Alicia today, that as their programs continue to develop, work with the jail, work with us independently, those are items that we're still going to keep on working on and make those investments. So, but this is to clean up the agreement, essentially, right, Kurt?
Correct.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I talked to Kurt today, and I just thanked him and staff that's working on this for staying on top of all the details with it, because we all know that government money can be very complicated. So appreciate you fine-tuning everything and making sure we're doing the right thing with it. So
Thank you.
So if you're looking for a motion, I see.
Yes, sir. Mhm.
I'll make the motion that we approve the amended agreement with Life Learning Center.
I'll second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And to that end, next is to request approval for our federally funded sub-award and funding assistance agreement between Trades NKY and the Fiscal Court. I know we've got our new Trades NKY director, and who else was back there? Ellie, here we go. So we got, Kurt, you want to cover that at all? But this is pretty exciting.
Yep, this is another ARPA contract using those federal funds, and this will bring the trades into the 6 Northern Kentucky middle schools of the Kenton County School District. This is funding to renovate classrooms, purchase equipment, and consumables for each school.
So to articulate that, so the program that's been developed through Trades NKY in other counties have really tested this. This puts some one-time dollars, so we're not annually funding staff and things, but we're funding these primarily one-time costs that these programs would not be up and running in the school district. So this would be a total of 300,000, is correct? It's 400,000 total, which will really make an impact. And I don't know if you guys want to speak to that this evening, but it'll be all the schools, the superintendents have been very supportive and pretty exciting, again, to get another group of individuals ready for everything from welding to understanding, making better people out of just knowing how to use a screwdriver, so.
Is this something in addition to the Ensweiler?
It is. Yep.
Correct.
Is this in the high schools now?
Ensweiler is in Ludlow High School, but Trades NKY is not in any Kenton, or I think they might be in Holmes High School, but they're not in any other Kenton County high schools, and certainly nothing that we've funded before.
So I mean, this trades agreement, is that, it's for middle school now?
For middle school.
But is it in high school now?
So it's about
Come on up the mic, I'll let you.
pipeline.
Come on up the
So-
mic.
Oh, sorry.
We want to give you the mic because we love your accent. So
Okay. It's about developing the pipeline, getting them exposed earlier before they have to make their pathway decisions when they get to high school.
Okay.
So it's about feeding into Ensweiler, feeding into Gateway Dual Enrollment, feeding into the ATCs and the CTE programming. It's about getting in early. That's the main point
So
of it.
you're getting them more exposed to the
At a
trades
younger age.
So they can make a
We love the
decision.
trades, John.
We do.
Well, I just read recently with one of the trades electricians, they're making between 180,000 and 200,000
Yep,
without going to college.
and no debt.
Yeah, no
Right.
bit.
Right.
They're ready to go once they're qualified.
Whereas a
right.
teacher probably is making like 40,000.
A little bit more, but yeah, not enough. But there you go.
Are you a teacher?
I'm not, but I
You need
want
to announce your new position, and
Oh,
we're, go
yeah.
ahead and let you
Yeah.
just take a second,
Introduce
introduce
All right,
yourself.
So
And
my name is Lorraine O'Moore. I am the new executive director for Trades NKY. It's the first kind of full-time position. It was founded by two gentlemen who own their own construction companies and who had this vision of getting that early exposure and get that hands-on learning for the younger kids. And it's grown so much that they needed to hand it over to someone who could manage it. So that's why they hired me in. My background is in workforce development for over 30 years with marginalized youth, young adults.
So all the public and private high schools are
Yeah.
going to be involved?
Well, not yet. It's Title I we're going with now first, but as we grow. Now, I have worked with the parochial schools in my previous role, but for now, there's only me. So, and some part-time. Ellie is amazing. But we have to grow it. And we're starting with these 6 schools, which is what this funding will really help with.
Great, thank you.
Any more questions? Because I love talking.
you're now, how many, 2 days into the formal job?
No, this is my second week.
It is second week, okay.
Well, I'd
So-
be honored to make a motion to approve it, so.
Thank you so much.
I'll second it.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I'm going to point out one additional thing, by the way. That what they found is also, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but, even the kids seeing it, whether they stay in the trades or not, having somebody who has an appreciation and understanding of what the baseline of this stuff is. I don't care if they could become an accountant or a physician or whatever, it makes them a better household owner and resident of the community. So, good stuff. Okay, moving on. Item 4, for request of application number 21 for Dugan and Myers for the parking garage. Joe?
It's been reviewed and put forth for consideration.
Is this the final payment?
No, I think we've got, because the parking garage was a project, but then the podium is going to be a project that will continue into the spring, so now
Condos?
it's not going to be.
Dugan and Myers going to do that part too?
Yeah,
Yes,
they're doing it
they're
now.
currently doing that as we speak.
I'll make a motion to approve.
A second.
Motion is second. One additional comment, by the way, they're pouring concrete to that first deck along Main Street on Saturday, and then you'll start seeing the wooden framing come up on that, and then the part on MLK will be about 2 weeks out for that foundation to be finished and going from there, so good stuff. Right.
Stealing my thunder there.
Sorry.
All right,
You
go
have to
ahead.
find something else to report on.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Claimed list from December 30th and January 13th. Kurt?
Yep, both claims lists have been sent out. Are there any questions on those?
Okay.
Thank you.
Bills will be paid. We have our resolution. Let's see. sorry, budget adjustments, yeah. So that'll be Resolution 26-01A. Kurt?
Yep, I have at the jail, $13,000 for gasoline and $250,000 for medical claims, both coming from reserves. And then in Fleet Department, $20,000 for equipment repairs, also coming from reserves.
And that's cleaning up timeframe of, what do you think? Is that the timeframe of cleaning up for those medical claims?
So we're just now hitting the budgeted amount that we put in the book. So this will get us through June.
That'll be finished up the year, that's the point. That'll be estimated to get in the,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Good.
And just estimated as best we can get.
Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the budget adjustments.
I'll second it.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is Resolution 26-02, approving the surety of bonds for our new Kenton County Sheriff, Jude Heeman, who is here. Welcome, Sheriff, and glad you're here.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Ordinances, 121.49, our second reading for amending the county code of ordinances for our policy manual and administrative code.
This is just the transition leave edition, and this is second reading, so it can be amended into the admin code.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Order 121.5, an ordinance enacting and adopting a supplement to the Code of Ordinances for Kenton County.
No vote, it's just the codification of all your ordinances for the prior year.
Motion to approve.
First reading. we have-
No
Oh, I'm sorry.
action, yeah.
I still approve of it.
Thank you.
Now, calm down now. We got our consent agenda. We've got, let's see, 7 items. If you have any questions or would like to address them individually or pull anything out.
I'll make a motion, we approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion second. I'm going to call something out briefly, and that is that we will be facilitating one of the last SROs serving St. Joe's School in Crescent Springs. So that staff person, chief, will be starting tomorrow. Very good. Okay, you have a motion second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is our item 9, Exhibit 26-08, approval of our to solicit bids for construction manager at risk services for the new county park.
That was part of the consent agenda.
Beg your pardon. Sorry, we covered that already. Executive Order 25-171, declaring level 1 snow emergency on December 11th. And secondarily is Executive Order 25-172, declaring the level 2 of snow emergency on December 13th. Order 25-173, rescinding level 2 snow emergency that was declared on the 13th. And Executive Order 25-174, order rescinding the level 1 snow emergency that was declared on 11th. No action needed there. Order 26-01, accepting the retirement of Sheriff Chuck Korsenborn as our Kenton County Sheriff and appointing Jude Heeman as our Kenton County Sheriff, formally by vote. No, actually, we're not taking a vote because it was just
No.
appointed. And
We just do this to memorialize it into the minutes.
very good. I will point out, there have been a few comments made about that process, and just to clarify, remembering when a sheriff does resign, I have to appoint a new sheriff, so that has to be done, and thankful that Jude was willing to step up. And we do wish, by the way, Sheriff Korsenborn, we'll have plenty of time to talk about him in the future, but, wish him nothing but the best. Just an amazing human being who has given his life to is the community of Fort Mitchell, Kenton County, and, just really grateful for his absolute kindness. I don't think he would ever hurt a soul and do nothing but what was good in his mind for the community. And, eventually you got to have a rest, and I'm glad that the sheriff's going to be able to hopefully enjoy some retirement and in his years. So what a great human being. I'm glad that he was serving. Moving on to Executive Order 26-02, related to the court approving the reappointment of Chris Knockelman to the Covington Economic Development Authority Board.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Order 26-03, related to the court approving the voluntary declination of employment from Landon Webster as a public service tech for Public Works.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Order 26-04, related to the court approving the resignation of Tiffany Schuler as a public safety telecommunicator in emergency communications.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Order 26-05, related to the court approving the appointment of Trevor Diaz Wagner as a canine behavior coordinator for the Kenton County Animal Services Department.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Order 26-06, related to the court approving the appointment of Jordan Williams as a public service tech for Public Works.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Order 26-07, related to the court approving the appointment of Adam Wentz as a fleet service tech for Public Works.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Order 26-08, related to the court approving the appointment and contract for Richard Brannon Marksberry as a school resource officer for St. Joseph's in Crescent Springs.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Order 26-09, related to the court approving the appointment of Greg Reedcamp as a contract police officer for the police department.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Order 26-10, related to the court approving the appointment of Abby Knoll to the 911 Appeals Board.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're up to reporting. Jessica Ramsey for Technology Services.
Good evening, everybody. Today, I was going to brief you a little bit on the closure of our incident at the dispatch center. So we had multiple weather events last month, really showed to us the value of having that all-building UPS device that we talked about last fiscal court meeting. But between now and then, we did put in some smaller UPS devices on our server infrastructure, on our switches, and on the computers that the 911 operators use. So that helps us, whenever we do have one situation fail at the building, we've got plenty of redundancy. And during the time that dispatchers were working at 1840 Simon Kenton Way at their alternative facility, which was great that we had that. We were able to get a lot of work done at dispatch, and I'm very proud of how much work we did get done and how dusty the gentleman in my department got over the course of a couple of weeks. So we even had some power outages this past weekend, and during that we had a little bit of a power flicker, so Dustin went out to try and see, like, oh no, it couldn't be the new hardware we purchased. It was not. It was human error, so I don't know if that makes you feel any better, but at least it wasn't the expensive equipment we just purchased. Secondly, this year, one of the goals I have for our department is to offer some more training to people at different facilities based on some feedback we've gotten from some of the agencies. So in a couple of weeks, we're going to have our first training session on how to use the Chambers meeting room. Michelle's going to lead it, and we'll go through, like how to run a meeting, how to use all of the AV equipment in there and do some sort of basic troubleshooting. We're hoping that helps, especially with the evening public meetings when we don't always have somebody around who can answer questions right away. And I'm looking forward to getting some feedback from the people who attend that to see, what ways can we improve it going forward. And with that, I will stand for any questions.
How long did we operate the backup center for dispatch? Do you know that?
Pardon?
How long did we operate dispatch out of the
I
building?
believe it was 2 weeks.
Okay.
And it was the first time we ever had to use it, and it was nice to make sure that everything was working properly. We did get some interesting, I learned a lot about some of the laptops and everything we have in there, and it helped me make some decisions on what to budget for next year when we do replacements in terms of the specs for the laptops that I don't know if I would have thought of if we hadn't actually been having to use it. So it was very informative for that purpose as well.
Great. Thanks, Jessica. Appreciate it. John Stanton, External Affairs.
Judge. Just go through a couple items real quick. Number one, today was day 6 of the state budgets, the state legislative session, 6 out of 60. It's a budget year. I think most everybody would agree that the first 5 days are usually the least interesting 5 days in the General Assembly, but I think by the time that I'm up here next, we'll have a lot more to report. I did want to mention that we've always been fortunate over the years to have great support from Public Works in terms of our presentations. After all these years, the road plan still remains a little bit of a mystery to me. Nick Hendricks set a high bar for our ability to communicate with our legislative caucus. I really want to congratulate Spencer and Brandon because I think they've taken that even up another step and have done a great job with communicating with our folks down there regarding the needs in the county and things like that. The other thing I would mention is Spark House. I think outside of Blue North, I may be giving more tours of Spark House than anybody else, and it's all good news. 33 out of the 35 offices there are leased. Over 300 folks are members. Continue to get great response, great activity. Dave Knox, Midco, Reese, they're all doing a great job there. In the first, since September 22nd when it opened, they've hosted over 70 events and over 3,000 people, so it's off to a really good start. And one of the things I want to mention is we had a pretty substantial delegation from the University of Kentucky up here last week to see what's happening in Covington. They were all folks who many were here for the first time to visit the site for the future medical school. And that went extremely well. And again, it's kind of a team effort. We crashed as much into 3 hours of visitation time as we could, and a lot of thanks go out to places like Hotel Covington, Gina Douthit at Tank for helping to facilitate and make that stuff go very quickly. Also want to mention that the Age Well study is now beginning to kind of enter its final phases. I suspect by the time possibly that I'm reporting next, we'll have a public document at that point with some of the recommendations that Laura Allen and her team have made, and I think there'll be some action taken in 2026 based on the recommendations that are there in the report. And one final thing, a lot of good work going on with Corey Eimer and Vicki Burling at Northern Kentucky Works. Corey came in and met and updated us on their 2026 work agenda, and I think we're going to continue to see a good trajectory there as far as engagement. You saw some of it with trades in KY tonight, but a lot of other activity going on there, kind of a lot of substantive work. So with that, happy to answer any questions you might have.
Great. Thanks, John. Spencer Stork, Public Works. Where did we go? Where did he go? Oh, there he is. Are you stunned that John gave out some good compliments there to Spencer? Is that? He must have slipped him a $20 bill. What's that?
So first off, we made it through the first big couple of snow and ice events this season. Everything went very well. Wrapped that up. We've got our Salt Dome fully stocked again, so we're all ready to go for the next event that comes through. Next up, we have our Christmas tree mulching event going on. We're wrapping that up, so if you have Christmas trees that you want to get rid of and get them mulched up or used for the fish and wildlife for fish habitat, you can check out our website. We have locations for dropping those off. And then we also recently celebrated 3 graduates from Public Works from the Roadmaster and Road Scholar program. So that we just had that late last month, and it's very good. It's a great program. A lot of educational classes and training for all of our staff to go through. So with that, I'll answer any questions.
Spencer, do you want to make a comment on the kicking off the meeting with the transportation plan? Yeah.
Yep. So we also, I think during my last update, I said that we were, getting ready to get that process going with the transportation plan update. So we did have a kickoff meeting this week, and everything went well. We got a good plan moving forward, and we'll be executing that throughout this year.
Who did the patchwork in front of Highland Cemetery?
That was KYTC. Yep, they
did a good job with it.
Yep, yeah. I'll pass that along. Yeah, I think they
now
did.
My other question, I think I know the answer to this, but do they train the people that are applying the asphalt to the road to make it even with the sewer lids? Because, yeah, I mean, there ought to be some training with that, you know, because I'm just assuming it's possible to do it.
Yeah.
Because some of them are level, but you can go up and down the Dixie Highway, and it must be 10 or 12 that you go over a bump, you know, and it shouldn't be necessary.
Yeah, unfortunately, there are some instances where that happens. We do a lot of training, on the job, as well as going, like, classes like the Roadmaster Road Scholar. There's some classes about, asphalt placement in those as well. But, sometimes the utilities, you end up having issues like that, depending on, if they can get the right risers and how close they are to other, utilities or concrete curbs, that kind of thing, so.
But you don't know if the state, if they do training like that, I guess? Or...
I do know that they do definitely a lot of like on-the-job training.
Yeah.
I don't know if they go through specific classes on it, but I think it's a lot of on-the-job.
But you're committed to any county road has a manhole. We raise it up
Yeah.
before blacktop,
Yeah.
right? So.
Yep, that's right.
They don't do a very good job, don't they? I mean,
Contractor, yeah.
John, that's why you just drive right down the middle of the highway on Dixie. You don't take up all 4 lanes and you get around them.
well, okay.
I'm joking.
I do that anyway. I can't see, I'm old.
That's why we're going to start them in 7th grade, John.
Great, thanks, Spencer. I apologize. Kelly Sauer, Animal Services, I skipped you, I apologize.
Good evening. I just wanted to take this opportunity to do a little recap on 2025 from Animal Services. 2025 brought many changes to Kenton County's Animal Services Department. We upgraded our foster and volunteer program with a more defined structure and volunteer management software. Expanded our surrender diversion counseling and resources. We updated, created, and implemented new policies regarding cleaning, handling medical appointments, trap, neuter, release program, euthanasia, data collection, and post-adoption support. We even implemented an animal control officer ordinance study group, which actually turned out to be a lot of fun. All with the intent of moving us one step closer to making data and purpose-driven decisions and working more efficiently. And some of those changes are evident in some of the numbers from closing of the year. Last year we took in over 2,417 animals, which was actually down 465 from 2024. We had a reduction of 233 owner surrenders alone, which is really nice. I think some of those diversion programs are paying off. We increased our owner returns by 66 pets. We transferred 262 animals to rescues. Did 1,506 adoptions, which was up from 2024 as well. We were also able to reduce our total euthanasias from 2024 by 62 animals, bringing our live release rate up to 96%, which is the highest it's ever been. And we logged 3,799 volunteer hours and had 1,153 animals placed in foster homes last year, individual animals. So we're off to a really great start, I think. But in better news, I suppose, we did take in 13 emergency chihuahuas today. So if anybody's interested in fostering, please let me know. And if you have any questions?
No, that's great.
All right, well, thank you so much.
Thanks, Kelly. Great work. Kurt Grievenkamp, Treasurer Report.
Yeah, just need the record to reflect that the financial reports for December 2025 have been submitted.
Great job, Kurt. Thanks.
I'd like for the rest of my term for you to come over here and say that. Everybody else has to come up here.
He's got a mic or he is really tall. County Administrator's Report.
I have nothing.
Nothing at all?
Okay, all right. The SRO that we hired for St. Joe's, I find it ironic that his daughter went to St. Joe's with my daughter and your son.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay.
Interesting. So there's my report.
Okay, thank you.
Intriguing.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing. They can be that old. Okay, good. County Attorney's Report. Commissioner Droud, start with you.
I don't have anything.
Nothing at all. Okay. Commissioner Sewell.
I don't have anything either, Judge.
Commissioner Niebuhr.
Just glad the filing deadline came and went, and happy for everybody who's signed up to run. I wish everybody luck. I think it's been a pleasure to serve in the roles that we have, and I'm looking forward to the last year that I have here with this group here, great group. And I see people who are out there who are planning on running. I just want to wish everybody luck.
And so Commissioner, I would just, also I was going to comment on that, passing the filing deadline. A nice article, John, that you decided not to file to serve again, but, we'll make plenty of comments to this next year. We got a lot of work to do, but very justly acknowledged your great work, and I said that to the reporter that, it's funny, when we came in here 11 years ago or so, whatever it has been now, we weren't always on the same page, but it's been wonderful to, form great friendship with you and my admiration and respect for you, and joking with you. And I've said on a very serious note how much that I know your passion is for the county and has always been for Kentucky, but also the fact is nobody tells the stories like you and can retain them, and I don't know how you do it.
I appreciate your nice comments, and I'm glad you were willing to come around.
Well, we'll just end on that note, and appreciate it very much. And need a motion. We have a motion to adjourn.
Yeah.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye, we're adjourned. Have a good night.